Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today I have another mood board video for you. I know you guys sometimes really like these videos and sometimes they don't get many views, but again, I still love absolutely filming these. It's one of my favourite videos to film, so I will be carrying on filming them. This month is March and April, so it's the magazines that are from the April issues, but it's like March trends. So getting ready for spring, getting ready for summer, and I'll be naming some of my favourite trends that I've been noticing this month. So the first big trend is trainers. Now this is such a massive trend this season and it's going to be carrying on through spring and summer, but the difference is they're not your normal trainers. They're super oversized, super bulky and super over the top, to be quite honest. Now some of my favourites, which you can see like 50 times on this mood board, is the new Louis Vuitton trainers. I'm absolutely obsessed with these. I've got them here, I've got them up here, I've got a massive picture of them here, and I absolutely love them. They have like this amazing arch in the sole, they come up really high at the back, and they're just super over the top, and they come in so many colourways that you can't go wrong. You'll always find a colour that you like in them. These are super trendy, and of course every sort of designer and even the high street have sort of jumped on this trend. I know Topshop do a fantastic trainer, I think it's called the Ciara, C-I-A-R-A, and if you type that in on their website it comes up with the really lovely trainer that's very like the Balenciaga trainers, like these ones here. So those are really fantastic. Obviously a much cheaper version than the Louis Vuitton or the Balenciaga, and I believe they are about £38 on the Topshop website, so do check those out if you want to get into this trend, because it's a much easier way of getting into it. Now I've kind of got into it, like I'm absolutely obsessed with the trend, but bringing it into real life can be quite hard. The closest I've got is my Nike Air Force Ones, because they are very bulky, they've got a big platform on the bottom, but I definitely want to try and get the Topshop ones because I think that's the closest I'm going to get. I think I would, if I had the money, I would totally get the Louis Vuitton and the Balenciaga ones, but I feel that by the time I've saved up for them, this trend won't be sticking around for years to come, and it's a lot of money to spend £700 on a pair of trainers that might only last you a year. Now if I had the money, obviously I would have bought them a month ago and I'd have been wearing them all month by now, but yeah, I think by the time I save up for them it's not going to be worth it. But if you are able to get them, then I totally would, because I'd be there with you queuing up for them in the store. So that's probably my favourite trend at the moment, or one of my favourites at least, is these really cool trainers. I just have to point out these Chanel ones. I think they are absolutely stunning. Again, these are about £700. But however, I do believe the Chanel ones would be much more worth the money, because they're not so out there that they would be out of trend by the end of the year. These are a much more played down version. They look quite a lot like the Reebok Classics, just with the Chanel logo on. And I think if you were to splash out and get a designer pair of these sort of oversized trainers, then I would definitely go with the Chanel ones, because they're a similar price to the Louis Vuitton, but they're not so over the top. I think they're going to be a lot more timeless and they're going to last you a lot longer. The next trend I've been noticing lots recently is tailoring, which isn't normally something we see in the spring summer months. We're used to a lot more floaty materials during this time, but I've just seen it everywhere lately, and I've got a few examples up here. So the first thing would be jumpsuits, but they're much more tailored jumpsuits than what we're used to. They're not like the old style boiler suit that we've seen before. They are super tailored. They all have lapels on at some point. Lots of them are collared. They're cinched in at the waist, and they're a little bit more structured than we're used to. The next thing is I've got a whole section on checks here, which I'll get onto in a minute. But jackets, trench coats, skirts, everything's just super tailored and super structured basically. And even up here we've got dresses, jackets, trench coats, shirts, again skirts, again coats as well. Everything's super tailored. Everything kind of looks like it could be part of a suit, and I think that's a really interesting trend to go into spring summer with. I'm quite intrigued about how to style that throughout the spring and the summer, because it's not normally something that we go for. We're used to much more floaty fabrics, things that move, that keep you cool, but this is quite an interesting trend for spring summer, so I'm intrigued to see how that gets on. And like I said, another really big trend is going to be checks. So on to checks. I've picked up quite a few pieces here, and it's not really just checks, it's also a plaid print, like almost a tartan as well. Anything that has a boxy print on is going to be really trendy this season. So normal checks, like your normal Prince of Wales check, your normal stripes, vertical and horizontal, that's obviously going to be trendy. But also plaid and tartan are going to be really, really good as well. And Burberry did this a lot in their show a couple of weeks ago at London Fashion Week. There was so much plaid, so much tartan, so many checks, and those three are different things. If you didn't know, they're very, very different. So, and a lot of the things I've been seeing is people clashing them together, so having a tartan coat with checked trousers and a plaid shirt. So it's like very similar, but they are all different, and layering them I've seen a lot recently, and yeah, just mixing them up a lot. You can see up here, I know Prada, Balenciaga did loads and loads of plaid and tartan in their show, and Victoria Beckham's done loads, the Couples, Massimo Dutti always do that in their collection anyway, and they've brought that back again this season. And there's Karen Millen here, so lots and lots going on, and just basically anything graphic is going to go down really well. Now, another trend that seems to have come back this season, or I say come back, but I feel like it's never really gone away, is the sports luxe trend. Now, I honestly feel like this came out about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. It was really, really, really big, and it just hasn't seemed to have left ever since. Like, Adidas, Nike are making an absolute killing out of this trend, and obviously all the old sports luxe brands like Fila, Kappa, all of those old ones have really, really made a comeback, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I don't mind it because you know what, it's comfortable and it looks quite cool. So these are the two pictures I've picked out for this trend. I love the use of red in both of these pictures, and of course there are trousers which have poppers down the side, which I already own. Mine aren't quite sporty, they're more of a smart trouser, but it's nice to play into the sports luxe theme as well. And pretty much just anything with like a little bit, that's a little bit classy mixed with the sports, that's what makes it sports luxe. So another trend that we've been carrying on, but I thought it was nice to bring it back in this video because it's something we haven't talked about in a while. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is probably actually one of my favourite trends, is logos. So we've been seeing this a lot in the last few months, and it's definitely going to be carrying on through to the end of the year, if I think, because all of the autumn winter shows that have just gone out in the last month all had this trend carrying on with them. So I think this is a trend that's going to carry on through the whole of the year, if not into next year as well. So it's the logo trend, and I absolutely love it. Starting off with Dior, they've gone absolutely logo crazy. They've brought back their old Dior logo, which is like the Dior word printed all over everything. They have this fantastic tote bag. I actually went to try on this bag in the store because I absolutely love this little bag. I believe these are called the Diorama bags, but I might be wrong. And again, it's got the vintage Dior logo all over it. And Dior are bringing back their saddle bags, which is one of my favourite Dior bags of all time. I absolutely love the saddle bag. Funnily enough, last month I was actually looking up vintage ones to buy for cheap, like pre-loved ones. And now they've brought the saddle bag back in the new season, so you're going to be able to get them in store again, which is really exciting. Carrying on with the logos, Fendi went absolutely logo crazy. Now, I don't actually have many pictures. I've only got this picture of the Fendi bag. But if you go on my Tumblr inspiration for this week, which when you're seeing this will be, it would have gone up yesterday, Sunday. The Tumblr inspiration for this week featured loads and loads of Fendi logo stuff. In fact, actually, the last 3 weeks of my Tumblr inspiration highlights have been filled with Fendi logo stuff because I absolutely loved their autumn winter show. I thought it was actually one of the best shows of the whole entire season, and it was definitely my favourite Fendi show for years, so do go check it out if you haven't already. But I absolutely loved it, and everything was covered in Fendi. I do have a pair of Fendi shoes down here which have the Fendi logo all over, and they did Fendi stockings with the Fendi logo, bags, jumpers, coats, everything was covered in it. And it's not just them, like I said, Dior are doing it. Chanel had lots of things with the Chanel logo back on it again, and I think it's going to be a real trend that stays. Obviously it's a little bit hard to bring into the high street because you don't particularly want a bag that says Topshop all over it, or a pair of jeans that say Urban Outfitters all over them. That's not quite going to look the same as a pair of trousers that have the Fendi logo all over them, but it's something to look out for. And I think oversized logos are going to be a real trend as well, so do look out for it in the high street if you can. The last trend I wanted to talk about is white. Everything white. Now this is something I think I've put in my Tumblr inspo highlights on my Instagram a couple of times recently, but it's something that I really love, especially these jeans. These ones featured are from Topshop, but I'm actually wearing a pair of white jeans now that are from Urban Outfitters, which you will have seen in my the new blog post on my rayofstyle blog. And also you will have seen them in the last haul that I did, so I'll link both of those in the description box if you want to see, because it's kind of hard to show you than me wearing them right now. But white is going to be a massive trend, and all white outfits are going to be really big as well. I remember talking to you about white boots a little while ago. That's going to be sticking around for quite a while too. I love this white jumpsuit. This is from Calvin Klein, and this white suit here is really cool as well. So it's definitely going to feature throughout the coming months. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and do go subscribe if you want to see videos from me every week, every Monday at 6 PM. Don't forget to go check out my blog, rayofstyle.co.uk. I post a new blog post every Friday at 6 PM too, and do go follow me on my social media. Everything will be linked down below. I'm always active on Twitter and Instagram, so do go check me out. And I will see you in the next video guys. Thanks so much. Bye.